So I'm always looking for things to do with my kids. I'm always trying to find ways to create memories for them so they'll look back on their childhood and realize what an awesome dad they had. I got this Arlington blog that I go to. It tells you all the happenings of what's going on in the county. And this one day I'm going across it and I read this headline: Library to host Star Wars parade. Huh? Yeah. It says, click here to read more. I said, I don't need to. I'll tell you why. Because little kids love parades. Daddy loves Star Wars. It's like there's no left turn here. This is only going right. You know? But just to make sure, I have two little girls that have never seen Star Wars before, 7 and 4. I said, hey guys, there's going to be a parade this weekend, and if you want, dude, like at the word parade, they both just break out into an air trumpet solo. They're like, a parade. They're so stoked, and like that's pretty much the right response to have when you're that age if you haven't been to a parade. So the day of rolls around, and we get up there. We show up, about 2 hours early because I want to make sure that we get like a really good spot. I want to be like right up front when the Jawas come rolling down Quincy Street, And so we're sitting out there, but I'm so hyper-focused on like getting a good spot that I fail to notice the obvious, which my 7-year-old points out to me. She goes, Daddy, why is there nobody else here? I'm like, what? And I look around, and she's absolutely correct. Like, the place is dead. Like, the sidewalks are not, they're completely empty. The streets aren't closed down. There's no local news crew, nothing, right? And so I'm straining, like looking down the street, like, what nowhere? And I hear a woman's voice behind me go, can I help you? And I'm like, no, not unless you can tell me what time the Star Wars parade starts. And she goes, oh, it's not a parade. It's a Star Wars costume event. And it's not going to be out here. It's going to be inside the library auditorium. And I went, no parade. And I can see the awesome daddy stock is dropping. And I gotta think quick here because my kids are into it too. They're like, wait, did she just say there's not gonna be a parade? And I'm like, whoa, no, there's not gonna be a parade, but there is gonna be what did you say? A costume event? Good. And hey, before you start freaking out, you know what else is a costume event? Halloween. And you guys love Halloween, right? And this kind of like stunning my kids. They both were like, hold on for a second. They like leaned over, they're like, well, he's got a point there. We do love Halloween, huh? All right, we'll give it a shot. And I was like, okay, good. So we go inside, and that's where everybody is. There's a bunch of parents, bunch of little kids all dressed in Star Wars costumes. Not my kids, they're not nerds, but these other kids were all in there. So and I get into line, and I'm not in there for more than 2 minutes before you start to hear these rumblings going up and down the line. It's like, Darth Vader. And I turn around, and I swear to God, like no further than you are from me right now, is the most lifelike Darth Vader that you can imagine. It was like he walked off the set of the movie. Like he was tall, and he had the cape and the box and the helmet, and he was awesome. And he looked so real when he walked by me, I got scared. Like he walked by, and I was like, oh, Lord Vader? But not my 4-year-old. My 4-year-old steps right in front of him and goes, I like those boots. And even the emissary to the emperor is not impervious to my child's cuteness. He stops and he goes, are you here for the Star Wars costume lecture? And both of my kids go, yes! And I went, no. Because I'll tell you what I just heard. I just heard the word lecture. I was like, dude, did you just downgrade this thing again? Like, so we started with a parade, we went to a costume event, now we got a lecture? It went from like awesome to questionable to lame in like 4 minutes. So Vader walks off. Both of my kids are completely stoked. They're like, Dad, why does he talk like that? And I was like, ooh, good. Daddy-daughter Star Wars moment, here we go. And I was like, well, that's actually a voice box. And they're like, whoa, don't get caught in the weeds, Dad. And they're like, all they want to know is like, can we talk like that for the rest of the day? And I was like, definitely, you have to, that's awesome. So we go inside, and Vader is absolutely correct. It is a lecture hall. Like there's just rows of chairs, there's a podium, and then there's a panel behind him with like 3 other characters that all looked very realistic. They had like a Crimson Guard. this is so nerdy, but like Crimson Guard, and then a stormtrooper from the Hoth to Tail, and then Boba Fett. Amazing. They all look awesome. There's little kids everywhere. They're sitting next to me. They're on the floor. They're all around. And then Vader steps up, and he begins the lecture. Over the course of the next hour, you will learn how to create costumes like the ones you see on this stage. The kids seemed mildly interested, I guess, but see, like, here's the genius of the dark side, okay? Then he goes, at the end of the lecture, there will be an opportunity for you to take pictures with me and the characters behind me. And both of my kids just jump up and they're like, oh my God, I want to take my picture with Dark Elevator. So like, we're not going anywhere, right? So then, Vader then begins the PowerPoint presentation. Holy cow, dude. We're dying. First slide is something about building a chest plate out of polyurethane on a vacuform table or something. And he's going off. My daughter, my 7-year-old, looks at him and she goes, oh, Dad, this sucks. I was like, dude, I know. I was like, do you guys want to go get some ice cream or something? And they're both like, no, we want to get our picture taken with Dark Elevator. So slides 2, 3, and 4, I start drifting out. I'm trying to like stay awake and make it look cool for my kids, but they're not buying it at all. Slide 5, my 5-year-old, she goes, Daddy, can we go to the bathroom? And I was like, ooh, can you hold it till the end? And she goes, I don't really have to use the bathroom. I just wanted to go to the bathroom. I just want to just get out of here. Dude, this guy drones on for like 45 more minutes. We're all dying. Finally, at the end, he opens it up for a question and answer time. And like any kid that's still awake is like, how do you do Princess Amidala? How do you do Jar Jar Binks? And my daughter looks over and she goes, Daddy, don't they know that every time that they talk, he talks more? And I was like, oh my God, that's why you're going to college, because you're so smart. Look at you, right? And then of all people, like she raises her hand. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, no, I got this. And she goes, when do we get to take pictures? There's a collective sigh from every parent in the place. We're like, oh God. So they do. She goes up there, they get their pictures taken with Darth Vader and Boba Fett, and there's a lightsaber, and it was amazing. It's awesome, right? But it was miserable. We're walking out, and I'm trying to formulate an apology to my kids. And I want to figure out a way to say to them, listen, even though this was so miserable, I still had a great time being bored with you guys. And as I'm about to turn around, I hear them laughing hysterically. And I turn around, and they're holding my iPhone, and they're swiping through the pictures. And with every picture, they're laughing harder and harder and harder. And I said, wow, did you guys have a good time? And they went, yes, that was the best, Dad. You're awesome. And it was at that moment that I realized that they're absolutely right. I am awesome. Thank you.